Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to discuss one of the most fascinating and counterintuitive phenomena in deep learning, the edge of stability. You might think you understand how gradient descent works, but there's a mystery hidden in plain sight. Classical optimization theory tells us that if our learning rate is too large, training should explode and diverge. Yet, in practice, neural networks routinely violate these stability conditions and still converge perfectly fine. How is this possible? Why does chaotic, oscillating training still lead to good solutions? Today, we're going to unpack this paradox. Think of it like a tightrope walker, constantly wobbling, seemingly about to fall at any moment, yet somehow maintaining balance and reaching the other side. That's exactly what's happening during neural network training at the edge of stability. Before we dive into edge of stability, we need to understand a crucial concept called sharpness. Sharpness measures how curved the loss landscape is at any given point. Mathematically, it's defined as the largest eigenvalue of the Hessian matrix, which we write as lambda max of H. But what does this actually mean? Imagine the loss landscape as a mountain range. Some valleys are sharp and narrow, like a steep V shape, while others are flat and wide, like a gentle U shape. The sharpness tells us which type of valley we're in. A high sharpness value means we're in a sharp, narrow minimum with steep walls. A low sharpness value means we're in a flat, broad minimum where the curvature is gentle. This distinction matters enormously because sharp minima are sensitive to small changes in the weights. A tiny perturbation can send the loss shooting up the steep walls. Flat minima, on the other hand, are much more robust. They tolerate perturbations without dramatic loss increases. Keep this distinction in mind because it will become central to understanding why edge of stability matters for finding good solutions. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Classical optimization theory gives us a stability condition. For gradient descent to converge, the learning rate eta must be less than 2 divided by lambda max. This ratio, 2 over lambda max, is the critical threshold. Think of it like a speedometer with a red zone. To the left of this threshold is the safe zone, where gradient descent behaves nicely and converges smoothly. To the right is the danger zone, where theory predicts that training will diverge, with gradients exploding and loss shooting off to infinity. This threshold depends on the sharpness of your current position in the loss landscape. The sharper the region, meaning the higher lambda max, the smaller your learning rate needs to be to stay stable. If you exceed this bound, you're essentially going too fast for the curvature of the road, and you should crash. At least that's what the textbooks say. But here's the fascinating part. Neural networks in practice routinely exceed this stability threshold, and yet they still train successfully. What's going on? Let's put classical theory and observed reality side by side. According to the textbook, here's what should happen when you train with a learning rate that exceeds 2 over lambda max. Step 1. You start training. Step 2. You exceed the stability threshold. Step 3. Boom! Gradients explode, loss diverges, and training fails catastrophically. But here's what actually happens in practice with real neural networks. Step 1. You start training. Step 2. You exceed the stability threshold. Step 3. And here's the surprise, training keeps working. The loss might oscillate and behave chaotically, but overall, it still decreases. The network still learns. This is a genuine contradiction. Classical convex optimization theory says this shouldn't work, yet neural networks do it all the time. So either our theory is wrong or something more subtle is happening that the classical analysis doesn't capture. This mystery is exactly what edge of stability research seeks to explain. Now let's look at what's actually happening during training. Researchers have carefully measured the sharpness throughout the training process and discovered something remarkable. During the early phase of training, sharpness starts low and steadily increases. This makes sense because the network is learning features and the loss landscape is becoming more curved. But then something interesting happens. When sharpness approaches the critical threshold of 2 over eta, it stops growing. Instead of continuing to increase and causing divergence, the sharpness hovers right at this boundary. It oscillates slightly above and below, but it never sustainably exceeds the threshold. This is the edge of stability regime. The network is training at the very boundary of what should be stable, constantly teetering on the edge of instability, yet never actually falling over. The sharpness seems to self-regulate, as if the training dynamics are automatically adjusting to stay at this critical point. This observation fundamentally changes how we understand gradient descent in deep learning. So why doesn't training diverge when operating at the edge of stability? The answer lies in a self-correcting feedback mechanism. Here's how it works. When sharpness rises above the 2/eta threshold, the training dynamics become unstable. But this instability doesn't cause catastrophic divergence. Instead, it causes the optimizer to temporarily overshoot and move away from the sharp region. This overshooting effectively pushes the sharpness back down. When sharpness falls below the threshold, training becomes stable again and can continue making progress. This creates a negative feedback loop, like a thermostat regulating temperature. When sharpness gets too high, the dynamics push it back down. When it gets too low, normal training pushes it back up. The result is that sharpness oscillates around the 2/eta boundary, never sustainably exceeding it. The key insight here is that training loss can temporarily increase, and that's okay. Non-monotonic loss behavior is a feature, not a bug. The temporary increases are the self-correction mechanism in action, allowing the network to ultimately find better solutions than if it had stayed in the stable regime the entire time. Here's another fascinating aspect of edge of stability training. The loss landscape itself evolves during training. When training begins, the network might be sitting in or near sharp regions of the loss landscape. But as edge of stability dynamics take over, something remarkable happens. The regions the optimizer travels through start to become flatter. It's like a river carving its path through rock. The water doesn't just pass through the terrain unchanged, it gradually reshapes the landscape as it flows. Similarly, the edge of stability dynamics don't just navigate the loss landscape, they actively reshape it. Sharp peaks along the training trajectory get smoothed out. The path the optimizer takes becomes progressively flatter over time. By the end of training, the network often ends up in a much flatter region than where it started. This is significant because, as we discussed earlier, flat minima are associated with better generalization. Edge of stability training isn't just finding any minimum, it's actively steering toward flatter, more robust solutions. One of the most striking mechanisms in edge of stability is what researchers call the catapult effect. Picture a ball rolling down a curved surface representing the loss landscape. In normal, stable training, the ball rolls smoothly downhill, settling into whatever minimum it happens to find first. But in edge of stability training, something different happens. When the ball approaches a sharp region, the unstable dynamics cause it to oscillate wildly. Instead of getting trapped in the sharp minimum, the ball effectively catapults over it. It bounces right past the sharp peak and lands in a flatter region on the other side. From there, it can continue its descent in a more stable manner, ultimately settling into a flatter minimum. It's like a pinball bouncing off bumpers, finding a better path than if it had just rolled straight down. Or think of a skier who jumps over a mogul to reach smoother terrain beyond it. This catapult mechanism explains how edge of stability training systematically avoids sharp minima. The very instability that classical theory warns against becomes the mechanism for finding better solutions. So what does all this mean for how we should set our learning rates? It fundamentally changes the conventional wisdom. Let's compare 3 scenarios. First, a small learning rate. This keeps you safely within classical stability bounds. Training is smooth and predictable, like a turtle, making steady progress. But here's the downside. You'll likely converge to whatever minimum you happen to find first, which is often a sharp one. Your network will train, but it might not generalize as well. Second, a medium learning rate right at the classical limit. You're borderline stable, making decent progress, but still not accessing the full benefits of edge of stability dynamics. Third, a larger learning rate that exceeds the classical bound. Now you're in the edge of stability regime. Yes, your loss will oscillate. Yes, training will look chaotic, but the catapult effect kicks in, steering you toward flatter minima. Your final solution is likely to generalize better. The key insight is this: larger learning rates aren't just dangerous, they're actually beneficial when you understand the dynamics at play. Don't be afraid of oscillating loss curves. They're a sign that edge of stability is working. Now let's connect edge of stability to something every machine learning practitioner cares about: generalization. Why do flat minima lead to better test performance? The answer lies in robustness to perturbations. Consider a sharp minimum, shaped like a narrow V. Your trained weights sit right at the bottom of this sharp valley. Now, when you deploy your model on new data, the effective weights are slightly perturbed. In a sharp minimum, even a tiny shift causes the loss to spike dramatically as you climb up the steep walls. The model's performance degrades significantly on test data. Now consider a flat minimum, shaped like a wide, gentle bowl. The same small perturbation barely moves your loss at all because the ground around you is nearly level. Your model remains robust and performs well on new data. This is why flat minima generalize better. And this is exactly where edge of stability becomes powerful. By systematically catapulting away from sharp regions and settling into flat ones, edge of stability training naturally finds solutions that are robust to the kinds of perturbations that occur when moving from training data to test data. It's not just finding low loss, it's finding robust low loss. Let's recap the 3 key takeaways from our exploration of edge of stability. First, self-regulation at the edge. Neural networks naturally regulate their sharpness to hover right at the 2/8 boundary. This isn't something we designed or programmed. It's an emergent property of how gradient descent interacts with the loss landscape of neural networks. The training dynamics automatically stabilize at this critical point. Second, non-monotonic loss is normal and beneficial. If you see your training loss temporarily increasing, don't panic. This is part of the self-correction mechanism. These temporary increases are how the optimizer escapes sharp regions and moves toward flatter ones. It's a feature, not a bug. Third, larger learning rates enable better minima. By operating in the edge of stability regime, you activate the catapult effect that steers training toward flatter, more generalizable solutions. Larger isn't just faster, it's actually better for final performance. These insights fundamentally change how we should think about optimization in deep learning. Edge of stability represents a major step forward in understanding how deep learning actually works under the hood. For decades, we've been using gradient descent successfully without fully understanding why it works so well, despite violating classical stability conditions. Now we have a theoretical framework that explains this mystery, but there's still so much more to explore. How does edge of stability interact with different optimizers like Atom or SGD with momentum? What role does architecture design play in edge of stability dynamics? Can we explicitly design training procedures that leverage edge of stability more effectively? These are open questions that researchers are actively investigating. The journey of understanding deep learning optimization is far from over. We're looking through a telescope into vast, unexplored territory, with edge of stability being one of our most powerful recent discoveries. If you found this deep dive helpful, please like and subscribe to the channel for more AI engineering content. Understanding these fundamental principles makes us better practitioners and researchers. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.